Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters. Thank you for joining us. I know it's Sunday. It was straight off the bat, straight off the cuff, this show. And I'm really honored and bring you a particular individual who I'm quite addicted to. His his jokes and his manners are quite, mashallah, kind of stick on to you for a bit. Brother Bashir, all the way from the Bay Area in California, USA. Brother Bashir, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
Walaikum salam, brothers. I'm so happy to be here. So happy to give some facts. And yeah, feel free to lead, brother.
Yeah, fantastic. What we thought of doing, as we spoke before, is like doing some short live streams and some recorded interviews with yourself regarding the early days of Mirza Gulam Ahmed, which of course is a very interesting individual. Apart from his claims himself and his early days are quite interesting, to say the least. The fact that he came from a particular tribe or area in Uzbekistan, like the Mongol Empire, and his claim to a prophethood, which we'll touch on it a bit later on. His father and his mother, and his early days. Brother Bashir, if you don't mind, is breaking it down to us and the audience, mashallah, that his early days, he's born, according to information, that he's born on the 13th of February, 1835. What can you tell us regarding his early days and his mother and father, and what roles did they play in his, in who he became?
Right. And that's a controversial date. That date is given not by Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. That was given by his sons from the second family. He was born 1839, 1840, and they connected it with the death of Ranjit Singh. So, back then, brother, you would have to remember big events to remember when you were born. So the death of Ranjit Singh is when Mirza Ghulam Ahmad was born. That was 1839. And they always famously said the fortunes of the family changed at that point, but that's not totally accurate. So, and we're just going to jump right into it. If you want to learn about Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, the first thing you should read is the Punjab Chiefs, 1865 edition, and there it is. I just pulled it up on the screen. Okay, and let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger.
So his father was very closely linked.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. As you can see, he's number 70 on this list. See that? And this is not my website. This is apnaorg.com.
Yeah.
Punjab Chiefs. I got nothing to do with this website. I didn't create it. It's a book written by the British. Basically, it was a report. It seems like the British government wanted to know who were the rich people in their province, I guess. So, and you'll see on the very top is the family of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, his ancestors, etc. It's a long list, right? And there are some Muslims on here. We don't know exactly why, but just a few, maybe less than 10. And Mirza Ghulam Ahmad does show up. Mirza Ghulam Murtaza, who's Mirza Ghulam Ahmad's father, he shows up as number 70. So so is this accurate? That's a good question. This is what Mirza Ghulam Murtaza told the British government. So this is a man's statement, a legal statement that he's telling the new government, the British, which, sorry to break this to my Sikh friends, but the Sikhs were like a buffer state that the British created. They make these all the time.
Yeah.
Just look at Kuwait. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? Kuwait's like a buffer country that they created, that's got all this oil that they've manipulated, and et cetera, et cetera. There's a bunch of these. I think Djibouti in on the Horn of Africa is another one. So Eritrea is another one. They create these small little countries as buffer states. So anyhow, Mirza Ghulam Murtaza, he gives a story of his family, and he says it right there. He says in 1530, which was about 496 years ago, something like that, 494 years ago, actually. And
He was in the army, wasn't he? I think he actually fought against the Muslims in Kashmir, if I'm not wrong. And also, he left that particular area, and then they told him to come back. The Sikh Empire asked him to come back to claim and to basically honor him and give him some type of reward or whatnot. So that's really interesting. He actually fought against the Muslims, and he also, I think, he actually killed one of the Mujahdids at that particular time, if I'm not wrong in that also, Brother Bashir.
Totally. And that's here. Let me show you who. Sayyid Ahmed Barelvi in Kashmir. This is the Wikipedia page. You'll see the date of his death is 1831. So we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. Let me let me pull that back up. This is a fascinating story, especially if you're like a Punjabi Desi, or even if you're just Desi. See what happened in British India in this era. So, like the brother said, they were from modern day Uzbekistan, Samarkand, and they were admittedly Mongol. So these are Chinese. Remember, Mongolians are Chinese. You know, that's like saying I'm Punjabi or I'm Kashmiri. It's right next door. It's so similar. It is different, but if anyone was like you, it would be them. It's like the Punjabis and the Pathan. Yeah, it's different, but it's very similar also, you know. The closest thing, you can call them cousins or whatever. So anyhow, he claims that their family moved to Ghazi, which they claim that Qadian was called Ghazi in that time. They changed the name to Islampur. This is all allegations. He goes, but then the Sikhs came into power and they ran them out.
Yeah.
Mirza Ghulam Ahmed's great grandfather they had beefs with the Ramgarhia Sikhs and the Kanhaiya Sikhs. They came in to Qadian and took everything. So at that point, the Mirza family takes off. They went to Begawal. And they went and stayed there quietly for 12 years. So this is around the turn of the century. It's around 1800. Okay. So then finally, Mirza Ghulam Ahmed's grandfather dies, Atta Muhammad, and Ranjit Singh tells Mirza Ghulam Murtaza, "Hey, come. I'll let you come to Qadian, but you got to join the military. I'll let you move back." Now we don't know what land they gave him. Now remember, the Sikhs were like communist socialists, so they didn't really believe in land ownership. So you know, they believed in more spread the wealth and etc. in theory, and you can look that up. So there was something going on with like the land and the properties. So they weren't giving it exactly back to him, but they were letting him move back there, right? So him and his brothers, Mirza Ghulam Ahmed's father and his Chachu and Taya. Right, bro. You all got a Chachu and a Taya.
Yeah.
So they all joined the Sikh military.
Yeah.
And remember, the Sikhs aren't allowing Muslims to give azan, brother. No azan. They're taking over mosques. I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine what the British government allowed the Sikhs to unleash upon the Muslims of the Punjab, who had been in control of this part of India for over 400 years, seems like 300 years. So anyhow, now Mirza Ghulam Ahmed's born, right? Whether you take 1835 or 1840. So he was content. Okay, so look, it's right there. He performed efficient service on the Kashmir front. Brother Shoaib, what does that mean? Efficient service. That means he was shooting all the guns right.
That's right.
Okay, not a scratch on him, not a mishap. Now, you know, so a lot of people shooting these cannons can make a mistake and you end up blowing yourself up too.
Absolutely.
If you're not doing it right. So Mirza Ghulam Murtaza is amazing. See, they love this guy. Okay, he's trusted. his brothers are in, et cetera, et cetera. So then, Mirza Ghulam Ahmed's born. He went with General Ventura. I was like, who is General Ventura? Who is this guy? So now he's working with Italian and actually here
it's interesting, brother Bashir. I just want to run it back. The fact that I think he had a twin, and I think his twin died at birth or something similar to that. So that's quite interesting. So he had a twin brother or a sister, but at childbirth he survived, and his sibling died. And then from an early age, and it's funny, it is quite weird because he is from a Mongol family, and the original founder of this particular tribe was called Mirza Hadi Beg from the Baras tribe, I think. So he comes from a lineage which was known to rape and pillage individuals and so forth. So sorry, Brittany, I thought that was a bit of a side note. I just wanted to share that.
No. So and here, let me show the ref and explain the story. So Mirza Ghulam Ahmed tells us. Remember, it's him telling us. We don't know if this is true. He says in 1897 that when he was born as a twin. Well, we don't really believe that. You know, and he says he had a twin sister, and he described his birth, or what people must have told him in a disrespectful way. He said his head was wrapped in his sister's legs or something like that as he came out. And you know, it seems like everything he ever explained, brother, had some type of sexually derogative kind of, you know, it's like the old Desi guy in the village who has no filter. He'll just say it, whatever it is, you know. He just says it. So there's the reference. He was trying to say that Adam alayhis salam, brother. He was trying to say Adam was born in pairs. That's not Islam. Adam was created as a person, as one person, and then the hadiths tell us that a rib was taken, and that's how Eve was created. You know.
That's right.
So what is Mirza Ghulam Ahmed trying to say? Why is he trying to say that they were twins? Brother, they were twins and they were married to each other? Astaghfirullah. What is he even getting at, brother? So that's connected. He starts saying remember, he says he's like all the prophets. And he called himself Adam so many times, right? So the level of disrespect is just out of control. Right. So then look, I got all the verses, I got all the references of what he's saying. Yeah, et cetera, et cetera. Check it out.
Quite interesting. From an early age, you know, he studied Arabic, the basic Arabic grammar. He studied the Persian language from various different teachers and tutors from the ages of 10 all the way to 17 and 18. And also he studied some works or some books on medicine. Is that correct?
Well, that again, it's him self-reporting. You know, we don't have an independent source. He says that his dad brought a noker to teach him. Bro, you don't talk about your teachers as a noker. You know, a noker is like an employee. You know, and you know, in British India, they might have treated them very bad. You know, but yeah. So he says his dad brings these guys who know a little bit of Arabic, but come to find out they're opium addicts. They're smoking the opium right here. Let me pull it up. So, well, no, they're not smoking it because they didn't smoke it. They ate it. They ate opium. And you know that's where you get the stomach problems.
You ever see the episode called Breaking Bad?
No, I've seen Breaking Bad, but not the specific episode you're talking about.
Yeah, when they're in the caravan, and one of them's a pharmacist, and the other young lad's a bit of a dealer and wheeler. It just kind of have that type of connection. Sorry, brother, go on.
So okay, so look, here's the reference. In 1929, his son, the Khalifa, says the truth is, Mirza Ghulam Ahmed himself did not claim that he learned from anyone. He used to say that his teacher was an opium addict and smoked hookah as well. And sometimes on account of intoxication, he used to spill the contents of the bottle on the ground.
Oh.
So he's just falling. So brother, what could he have learned from a guy who's falling over the hookah every time he comes over? Like, bro, you're falling on the equipment.
Nice.
You just trampled the hookah that you yourself brought, and now you got to take it back. And so, brother, if your teacher is smoking hookah in front of you and eating opium very openly, maybe the student will do it too. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. But if this is the guy who's teaching you, so yeah, that was also going on. He learned some basics. I think he also had some of the same teachers as Badalavi. So this is where the Badalavi connection comes in too. He knew him in his youth because they might have sat in a class together, or had the same teacher for a day or something like that.
Yeah, it's interesting because the fact that he used to go to Friday prayers and so forth, and then he abandoned the masjid for the Jummah prayer, went to another building which was like abandoned mosque, and started to pray there. And that's when he kind of got this revelation saying that he's a self acclaimed prophet, which, to be honest, from an early age he had a bit of a dubious upbringing, to say the less, from his parents, and of course his nokar being an addict to opium and so forth. And this girly attributes which was kind of like put on him. Can you just share that for us also, brother, please?
Yeah, and he never went to a Jummah in the first 30 years. There was no masjid in Qadian in the first 40 years of his life. His dad built a masjid in Qadian, which the Sunni Muslim community should get back, because that didn't belong to Mirza Gulam. It belonged to his dad, who was technically a Sunni Muslim. But strangely enough, he said his dad never prayed, like not even a single time. That's hard. How do you not pray once, even every day? How do you not pray at least once? I'd say at least 4. Maybe you got busy. I don't know. How do you forget, brother? As a Muslim, you're constantly checking the time.
Yeah.
What time is it? Am I in the window? Oh, I'm out of the window. No way. Okay, Okay. So he never went to any masjid in his youth. We can just forget about that. It was when his dad died, and then he took over the Masjid Aqsa that his dad built, and then he still really wouldn't go there. He built another one right next to his house, which is on the roof of his house, adjacent. And that's where he was claiming to get revelation, yada yada yada. And then I'm sorry, brother, but what did you specifically ask me? Oh, the girly man thing. Yeah. So people would come over his house, right? As you know, Chasha and right, Chai Shai, biscuit. Right. And I'll tell you, the weirdest thing about the biscuits, brother, he used to eat these biscuits that were made in pig fat. And I'll get to that in a sec. But yeah, so his father, Mirza Gulam Murtaza, when people would come over, and here's a quote from Tazkirat al-Mahdi by Apir Siraj al-Haq Nawani. He says he relates this story. I think it was published in like 1915. He said every time people would come over, they'd see Mirza Gulam Murtaza and say, "Hey, so we know about your older son. Everyone knows him. But who's? Don't you have another son? In Punjabi, koi aur putter hai tera? How come we never seen him? Where's he at?" He'd be like, "Oh, Mackie the son." Because brother, in like Punjabi Urdu, it's funnier to say it like that. So he'd say, "Oh, and I don't remember the Urdu for girly man.
Girly man, like a boti or a goody. Good D is another one.
Yeah, it could be a blushing bride,
Yeah.
is what he would say. And he said, "Oh, he is not a boy. He's actually a girl." And I got to go back and get. Oh, I might have the scans here, but I got to get it like transliterated so I can double check and quadruple check. But if your father is even going down this route, there's a problem. When I was a kid, my dad first he'd say, bun it up with the onion banner. Be a good boy today. I know you're full of energy, but we got some people coming over, so sit there and behave. But he's like, no, I'm not even claiming this one. So brother, they're in Qadian. The mutiny of 1857 happens. Okay, now, and I've explained this. It's all about the guns and the technology. Which guns shoot further, you will win.
Absolutely.
Even now, brother. Do you know how like nuclear weapons are sent? It's because inside of Earth you can only go so fast. So governments have figured out if you want to send a nuke to halfway around the world in like 30 minutes, you got to go into space. Because and then you pick up the speed of the rotation of the Earth. I think the Earth rotates at like 10,000 miles an hour. So if you're in space, you're moving at 10,000 miles an hour. But if you're in Earth, I think the max is like maybe 3,000 to 5,000. I think sonic. So they shoot these missiles out into space. It gets to where, and then it they kick in the boosters and etc. So it's not bravery. It's not being a tough guy. It's understanding how the world works and how to use the speeds around you to propel. So shooting a gun, the bullets are going to fall. You know what I mean? That's when you run out of range, your bullets are curved. They're not going straight. So the British came up with this new weapon. I think it's called the Emsfield rifle or something like that. But to use it, you got to use pig fat and beef fat.
Yeah.
To lube the cartridges. So the Muslim soldiers, mostly Muslims, and the Hindu, and actually I don't know if the Sikhs were with them. But they rebelled and mutinied. And brother, the punishment for mutiny. It's like leaving Islam. It's the same punishment. Right, yeah. If you're a traitor, you're gonna get dealt with. So Mirza Ghulam Ahmed, so Mirza Ghulam Murtaza hears the British are getting beat. The British are getting the worst defeat since they lost in America in 1776. They're getting it handed to them, right? He says, well, I got 50 horses. I still got weapons. I'm going to show up. So he shows up with his brothers and his son, his eldest son. Mirza Ghulam Ahmed couldn't go. Now, per Ahmadiyya records, he was 22 years old. He's a man. He's a man. Yeah. But he's a girl man.
Yeah.
So they said he broke his right arm and he couldn't lift a cup of chai. So how are you going to lift the weapon?
Yeah.
And back then they were heavier. Now we got the light. You walk around the block, bro.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. So when did he actually marry his first wife, Horat Bibi? I think his first wife is from a young age, or how old was he?
Yeah. So they tell, and Sheikh Ibn Hazm brought this up. There's a contradiction here. He got married, bro, when everyone got married. As soon as you hit puberty, in that time frame. What are you waiting for? Now everyone's going to school. You got to build a career, bro. Back then, that was not the case. You're 12, 13. You just hit puberty. People wanted to grow up faster back then, and it's a huge issue. It's a huge issue. They talk about the age of Aisha, and it's like, bro, times were different. The average life expectancy was like 32 or something like that. People didn't even live that long, so you had to hurry up and grow up. Unfortunately, a lot of women are raising the men these days in America, and they're babying them. Oh, it hurts. Oh, when I used to get hurt when I was a kid, my dad asked me, "Where does it hurt?" And he'd slap it. You know what I mean? That's how you toughen a kid up.
Yeah.
So anyhow.
He's 20. So I'm assuming he married her when he was 22, his first wife, Bibi. And I think he had 2 children from his first marriage.
By that time, yeah, he's already shadishuda. Shadishuda, and he's got 2 kids. So he's a man with 2 kids, and he doesn't go to help his brothers and his dad. He stays home. Well, that's why they call him a girl. Because who else stays home? You know, I think Hazrat Ali radiallahu anhu was upset when he got left at Tabuk.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I'm a warrior. You're not gonna leave. And then no, you know, there's some wisdom behind it. You know, and then he was okay with it. You know, but if you're a warrior, it's hard to sit. You know, sit this one out.
Exactly, it hurts. It does hurt. So he married Hurat Bibi, right? He had 2 children from her. I think total he had about 14 children. I know some of them died at early age at that particular time. And then he took a second wife. Was it his second wife, or did his first wife die? His second wife was Nusrat, I think, Begum, if I'm not wrong in that. Did he marry him at the same time, or like did one of them kind of leave him or pass away or so forth? What happened there?
Yeah, so his first marriage was to his cousin, on his maternal cousin. So any cousin marriage, you're not going to have more than a few kids. That's just sort of how it goes. You know, if you want to have a bunch of kids, you can't marry your cousin. You know, so how many years later? 40 years later, 30 years later, he got all that money for Brahini Ahmadiyya. And now all of a sudden he's getting married again. And he's still married. He's still married to the first woman. He had neglected her. I think he lived next door to her. They lived in the same mansion complex in their village, but he didn't sleep with her. As you know, brother, what's the ruling in Islam if you don't sleep with your wife? For 10 years, for 15, 20 years, you know, but he sort of lived in that state, which is not justice. How is that justice, brother? That's not justice. So he married Nusrat Jahan in 1884, and she was like 12 years old. They lie and say she's 18. You know, she wasn't no 18, bro. Back then, if you were getting married at 18, you were old. You might have been divorced twice already, or your husband might have got killed or something. There were extenuating circumstances. So yeah, his second wife was later on, and then he wanted a third one, as we all know, which was also his relative, Muhammadi Begum. He didn't get that. So as you see, brother, he starts getting some money. And what does he do? He starts having more wives, you know, and then his sons from his first wife, they were raised by his brother. They had pretty much adopted him. So what was Mirza Ghulam Ahmed doing all day? You know, he's got no responsibilities. He didn't even throw the ball at the kids or go to the river and throw rocks. Bro, look, I have kids. When they were 6, 7 years old, I went and threw rocks at the river. You know what I mean? You know, you didn't do that. Instead, you were in the room high on opium and you can't move. You know,
and also the claim that, you know, he took so much opium. You know, some of these images that you see of him, and especially when you go on some of the streams, and Ahmadis have pictures of him in you know, like poster boy, like, or something, like a male model, and I think he had his image cropped, didn't he? Because he couldn't even open his eyes because due to the amount of, you know, intoxicants he used to take. So they used to edit some of his clip. Okay, here we are. Yeah, so this is edited, isn't it? This
just look at the right eyeball. You could clearly tell that these guys just can't accept it. And you know, Rusty responded to this. Rusty said, "No, you know, back then they used to edit these print photos just to make things look a little bit better." Brother, this is your prophet. You edited the way your prophet, and then they tried to say, "Nay, bahut masoom tha." You know, he just looked at the ground everywhere he went. He never looked up. Bro, so this was 1924, and you know, a Muslim's supposed to keep a short beard. I mean, not a short beard, a short mustache, or shorter. I've seen like the different lengths.
Yeah.
And it makes sense, brother, because if you're eating food all day and you can't wash your face, you're gonna have food stuck in your mustache all day. So it's not even like good hygiene. But anyhow, he looks like a Sikh, does he not?
Yeah, of course. Another thing I wanted to ask you, brother, and I'm going to put you on the spot here, and I haven't asked you to research this. the bayah that people used to give to him, the pledge. I think there's 10 conditions. Do you know any of them?
Oh yeah. This is an interesting one. So in 1891, he says, "Oh yeah, everyone get together and let's uh, come to Husharpur, and I'm going to take bath. How about everyone become my follower?" So the thing is, the first bath form had an oath of loyalty to the British government in it. Number four was staying loyal to the British government, and it's missing. The original bath form is missing. But he spoke about it in 1894. In 1894, he said Islam has two parts: obey Allah and obey the British. Astaghfirullah. What Islam is that, brother? I've never heard of that kind of Islam. And then here's another one. My faith is to obey these are the conditions that he set to obey the British government. So obey. Shut up. Don't say nothing. Listen to every. But then look, by 1906, he took it out. So explain. So he's trying to clean it up.
From watching previous streams, Brother Bashir, it feels like he always contradicted himself, where he would say something in his early days, and then later on he'll just contradict himself. And why do you think that is? Do you think he was realizing that people are catching on to him and more information was available to kind of debunk him, and then he kind of like started to change his thoughts and his process? Why do you think that is?
Because it was all a setup from the beginning. He says he knew he was going to be the second coming of Isa alayhi salam before he wrote Brahini Ahmadiyya. He said he already knew. If he already knew, then it's a setup. He set the whole thing up. If you read Brahini Ahmadiyya, he's denying miracles in Brahini Ahmadiyya. He's saying he's getting ilham in Brahini Ahmadiyya. He's claiming verses of the Quran. Everything is in Brahini Ahmadiyya. But he said, no, it's just metaphoric. I don't know what this means. And then he says, oh, okay, I was wrong. So look, the thing everyone's discussing about Maryam alayhi salam, the one thing everyone left out, or I don't know if they've realized it. I'm sure Brother Imtiaz has realized it because he's deeper in the books. Mirza Gulam Ahmed's view of Maryam alayhi salam changed over time. He hadn't landed yet. He hadn't landed yet. He was like, oh, well, maybe she got married, or you know what? She used to hang out with. They used to travel together. Oh, and then he finally landed on it. So they'll go to the comments before that and say, no, before that he said she's Siddiqa, she's this, etc., etc. Allah salam, astaghfirullah that I'm even speaking about her in that way. But his views change. So if you quote his early writings on prophethood, you'll be like, where is he claiming prophethood? He's not, because he wasn't. But if you look at his later books, he is. So these guys don't follow this. They don't understand this. They don't care to understand. They don't want to understand it because their whole world will be smashed and destroyed. Now, they try to make a parallel to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So brother, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was not told that he was the best of the prophets on day one. He didn't know. He didn't know until Allah told him, which was later on. And then still he was never boastful about it, because it's not something he said. Prophets are brothers. You're not supposed to compare them against each other. You know. And Mirza Gulam Ahmad claimed to be better than Isa alayhi salam, astaghfirullah, as we all know. So it's all a setup, bro. From prophethood to Isa to Mahdi.
Employment-wise, I think he worked as a clerk or something, didn't he, in the post office? And I think that didn't last long. I think he kind of, I don't know what happened. Some allegation that he stole some money or some pension or something, and he ran off and had a good time in a particular red district or something like similar to that. What's the story about that, brother?
Yeah. So now we're gonna go back further. So you saw the Punjab Chiefs 1865 edition. At that, when that was published, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad was already in Sialkot on punishments. Yeah. Okay. The story was Mirza Ghulam Ahmad's father, when the British took over, he applied for a pension with the British. And he says, look, this is why I'm putting out the secret. Ranjit Singh and the Sikhs were a puppet government of the British. The British gave them weapons. The British gave them generals. General Ventura. They gave them everything. Hey, we need you guys to operate. So Mirza Ghulam Ahmed's father is like, look, I've been with you guys indirectly since the 1820s. I've been a general in your army. I've been commanding infantry regiments, fighting Muslims, etc., etc. Give me a pension. And no, so the mutiny happens 1857. So the British aren't on board yet. The mutiny 1850, Mirza Ghulam Murtaza helps the British, right? He helped them. His brothers helped him. His son helps him. He applies for a pension. He says, hold on. I helped you guys. Give me some villages in Qadian. Give me Qadian. Give me some surrounding villages. Let me be in charge. Look, you could trust me. I just fought a war for you guys and helped you in your worst time. You owe me. So General Nicholson, I'm sure you remember the dirty General Nicholson, the murderer, the genocidal maniac. You know, he wrote a letter of recommendation. Brother, if Hitler writes a letter of recommendation,
it really is like a comedy sketch, and some of these characters and personalities at that particular time throughout history, you know, they're like somebody out of like Monty Python's. I don't know if you heard of Monty Python's, but it just feels like a comedy sketch. And back in my days, we used to have like Carry On, and I don't know if you guys remember that in the chat, but back in those days when I was young, it just seems so dodgy, you know, and Ajib. This guy was a mass murderer. He was a bad person.
Wrote a letter of recommendation. Look. So Mirza Ghulam Ahmed's father writes a letter to the British government, and he's attaching this letter of recommendation from General Nicholson, who's dead. He died in the mutiny in 1858 in Delhi, I think. He's dead, but he wrote this letter of recommendation before he died. Right? And you can see it. They're like at his own expense. He showed up with 50 warriors and 50 horses. We owe this guy. So now you have a guy vouch for, so now they get the pension. The pension is given, but it's only 200 rupees. Mirza Ghulam, his father, screwed his brothers out of it. He said, "No, man." He said, "It's all me, baby."
That's how they say in Ireland. Maraya.
Yeah. So as you know, the village rivalries, bro. The village rivalries, bro. And the women are worse. The women are worse. They'll get you in the village, bro.
Absolutely. Don't be deceived by the women folk.
So
it's interesting. So he worked as a clerk or
no. So let me finish the story. So remember the context. All this is happening. The mutiny, the letter of recommendation. Mirza Ghulam Murtaza gets paid. He says, Mirza Ghulam Ahmed, go pick up the pension. It's like 200 rupees, which is in today's money probably like $20,000, $40,000. 50,000 maybe. Actually, I'm not sure, something like that. So he's about to go pick it up, and see, we don't know where he went to go pick it up. But you're in Qadian. Lahore is the biggest economic center. Maybe Gurdaspur, maybe Amritsar. We don't know. So he goes to pick it up, and then he doesn't come home for 3 weeks. He's on a runner. But hold on. Is that a runner? Isn't that a runner? I mean, I can't think what else. Who doesn't come home? You know, nowadays they'll call you, call. You got to get rid of the phone. You know, the phone will give up your location. Back then, bro, look, I used to know friends that their mom would tell them, you cannot hang out with your friends, and they'd still hang out with me, and then I would be dropping them off at home. And I'd be, you know, down the street, and down the street, I'd watch him walk up, and his mom and his aunties would come punch him in the face, do whatever, you know, because he didn't come home on time, and then he was out till later on without permission. So
in the UK we call it a bend. Here in the UK, I don't know if it's probably proper for me to say. When somebody has like a payday and they have a big and they got the money and they go on the bender, they call it a bender. Then they just go out. They go out drinking and whatever, and come back home in the morning, not knowing what I've been doing or where the money has gone. And then you have then you get like a rush in a particular location, which I don't want to say. Then you need to go to the doctors to get it checked out. Where did I get my rush from?
Okay, so okay, let's go back a little bit. He starts to walk out to go pick up the pension. His cousin brother,
Yeah.
Mirza Mohammadin, they say "Ovigasi piche piche." Now, when they say piche piche, that means he was sort of hovering.
Yeah.
Wherever he went. But bro, if that's your brother, you grew up in the village with him, he knows you, you know him. It's like, what's up, bro? So did they say did they spend all the money? And our assumption is if you're in Lahore and you need to spend money fast, you can go blow it in here on Monday and it's gone. Yeah. How else did he, he didn't go shopping. Yeah. Not like he went shopping and bought his family clothing.
He never came back with bags from
No. So then all of a sudden they get a letter in Qadian and Mirza Gulam Ahmed. It says, Dad, I spent all the money. I'm sorry, Mafi. Dad says, nay. He says, now we're going to teach you a lesson. Your whole life, you've been a loser. You've been a kutta. You've been whatever. You've been whatever. Right, brother? Isn't that what a Punjabi dad would say?
Yeah.
And look, this is a nice version. Okay, yeah. Okay. There's another version that I'm not unleashing. Okay, but his dad says, "Nay, putter, I'm gonna make you get a job now." Can you imagine a spoiled kid who says now his dad says, "Okay, now tinu nokri karni payegi." So his dad, but not as a farmer, not doing backbreaking labor. His dad says, I've arranged a job for you in the court in Sialkot. So how about you just take yourself and go to Sialkot, and then you cannot come home ever again until I say so. So he goes to Sialkot from the road. His dad probably sent him money to get on the or he would have walked. It was, you still need food for the walk. So he gets to Sialkot, and then he's there for 4 years. And they say he never showed his face. He had so much shurm, he never showed his face to people. He would walk without, because everyone knew why he was there. He never went to a masjid. Bro, he didn't go to the masjid for Eid. Now remember, Brother Shoaib, there's no phone, there's no TV, there's no radio. There's nothing to do in the house. Okay, so you're in the house all day still? That's indicative of an opium addiction.
Yeah, apparently that's the rumor was that he actually would stay in his room for long periods of time and nobody would see him and hear from him. That for me is like somebody it's called cold turkey. Sometimes you're an addict and you need another fix and you get cold turkey, or you try to get cold turkey, but then you realize you need another fix, and it's a vicious cycle. And the stories about him and his companion, I forgot his name now, the one who used to kind of like barge himself into the masjid and sometimes even touch him and grab him.
Yar Muhammad. Yar Muhammad. He did more than that, and honestly, if anyone ever did that, brother, I would break my salat, repent to Allah, say astaghfirullah later. Yeah. But I'd get up, I'd go over there and throw him out the window. And then I'd put my back. Oh, I'm sorry.
Imagine that, brother. You're praying, right? You're praying in the masjid, and there's people around you, next to you, in front of you, so forth. And your little runner comes up to you, starts pulling your kameez from the back. I've got, and you're like,
and stroking him. They said he was stroking him. What is that for? Tabarak, or the jism malish. Right. They say like we want to get the radiance out of you, so you got to squeeze the guy or something. Who knows? All I know is this guy's getting beat up. Okay. Okay. And then we're gonna have another plan. So, anyways,
So he used to sell Ya Muhammad. This particular guy called Ya Muhammad. He used to be like the runner for him. He used to go and get his dealing the wheelings and then bring it back to him.
yeah, that was later on though.
Yeah.
That's like 40 years later in Qadian. He's his confidant, his runner, etc. He'd get him the tonic wine, little shot here and there, just to say he's got to meet someone today, so he's gonna need some tonic wine to wake up. You know what I mean? If you ever watched the movie A Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah, the guy's got uppers, downers. Okay, he's got a meeting today. He's on some uppers. Okay, now it's time to do whatever. He took a downer, whatever the case is. So anyhow, back to Sialkot. So in Sialkot, what that did, the Christian missionaries were in Sialkot. It was one of their headquarters. So he alleges to have met Christian missionaries there and learned about Christianity there. See what I'm saying? So then 4 years later, a servant shows up to Sialkot. And remember, he never came home for Eid. He never came home for nothing for 4 years. That's called being banished from the home, bro. That's a serious charge in our culture. You did something so bad that you got banned, you got kicked out the house. So a servant shows up to Sialkot and he tells Mirza, your mom's sick. She's about to die. Your dad sent me to pick you up.
Yeah. So
that proves his dad said, you don't get to come home until your mama died. He blamed the mom. In our culture, sometimes they blame the mother.
Yeah. Blame it on the exactly. Yeah. I know, brother. I know.
Mom been babying him. They're like, "Maa ne rotiyan de ke."
Yeah. That's what they normally say.
If you have a kid who doesn't want to work, cut the roti, bro. Cut the roti off. Like, bro, okay, you don't want to go to work today? Aar cheez ban.
That's it.
Look. Just my own kids. Oh, y'all want some food? Y'all want to go somewhere? The house better be clean.
Yeah.
Well, we ain't doing nothing, bro. What do you think this is? You use the kitchen, you clean the kitchen. And I'll tell you some stories. I used to work with my dad as a kid, and it drove me crazy. He didn't used to put tools back in the toolbox. And I'd be like, there's one toolbox, we all use it. When sometimes I'm working, we're all working, and we can't find a tool. We're stuck for an hour because someone didn't put it back in the right spot and didn't clean it. I was like, can you guys just clean the tools and put them all back? Because there's other people here have some decency. Then I had a brother who would just go to the fridge and take the gallon of milk and just drink out the gallon instead of pouring the cup. And I remember catching him like, bro, that's nasty. Why? So anyhow,
but this guy, Ya Muhammad, you know what, brother? Sorry, Bashir, I really want to emphasize this. This guy was a weird individual where he used to stroke his thighs sometimes when they were sitting together, like sexually, stroke his thighs. And sometimes, people would observe that and watch it. And there is also a narrative that he actually left Ahmadiyya in 1911, if I'm not wrong in that, Brother Bashir. Am I right?
Yeah. And, whoever leaves Ahmadiyya, they call him crazy. But at the time that they're Ahmadi, they say, oh, no, they're crazy about Ahmadiyya. Like we'd say Razi is crazy about Ahmadiyya. That's why he doesn't answer any questions. Even yesterday, when they would let him speak, he would go off top. He's not there to answer the question. He's like, well, I want to talk to Imtiaz about this thing and this other thing he said months ago. Well, that's a whole different thing, bro. You can send an email on that one too.
Exactly.
So Mawliyar Muhammad, the stroking part. Oh no, bro. The Khalifa admitted. I think I even got the video of Mirza Masroor Ahmed admitting to it. And I don't want to play it because you might get a strike or something like that. But it's definitely there. I can't remember where it went. It's in here somewhere. I can't find it at this exact moment. But yeah, the guy. Oh yeah, here it is. So feel free to check this out on August 7th, 2015. There's a video too. He talked about Yar Muhammad, basically calling him crazy. It's like, no, the guy was not Mirza Gulam Ahmed. So they say Mirza Gulam Ahmed would tell people, hey, if this person has a sexual attack and he jumps on me, be looking out. Make sure you're looking out. So if he does it, somebody grab him before he can do it. It's like, what? I'd be saying, give me the stick and watch me hit him in the mouth. I don't know, bro. I'd say, okay, I have a different solution to this. Put him in the middle of the room. Let's get 10 witnesses. You guys are about to watch me make him go to sleep. And then maybe that'll fix him, you know? Maybe he won't do it again, you know? Because some people only learn from violence. We all know this. You know, some people, if you want to learn something, you learn the easy way. Some people got to learn the hard way, you know, and there's pain involved. In fact, in Islam, that's why there's people get lashed, because that's the only way that they might learn. So, yeah.
It's mad, Brother Bashir. I know we gave an hour to the show. Finally, I just want to ask you, like, regarding that website, that's your own website, isn't it? Can you just put it on the screen again, please? So if any brother or sister want to learn more from Bashir's website, please, I have put the link in the chat also for more information. It's all researched, it's all fact-checked, and there's always footnotes there. Can you just scroll up to the name of your website, brother, please?
Yeah. Oh, it's not showing. Hold on. Oh, yep, there it is.
There we go.
Ahmadiyya Fact Check. It's a simple website. It's a simple blog. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles on it. You know, for me to achieve, my strategy was to put out the information, not to make an amazing blog. You know, or like a nice looking. I don't even use thumbnails for my YouTube. You know, because you know, for me, the most important thing is getting the information out. And subhanallah, 7-8 years ago, when I first came out on Twitter and said I'm an ex-Ahmadi, people would ask me the same questions, brother, and I got tired of answering them. I was like, I don't have time to keep answering the same questions and getting into the same debates. I was like, I need a way to just write it once, be able to edit as new information comes in, and then if someone asks me what the story is with whatever, here, go read it, tell me what you think is wrong. And that's how I began engaging people. And it started to take off, brother, in subhanallah, during the pandemic. In March, I was barely getting, I had maybe 10,000 views total. And, you know, the reason I'm mentioning the views is to mention the impact of how many people went and read it. You know, this is not a YouTube thing where you watch the video. This is, you know, going to a website is a different level of trying to learn something, right? So in the pandemic, I got 800,000 views, brother, in like 3 months. It was out of control. I had no idea who these people were, what was going on, but that's when they really started noticing me. That's when they really were like, okay, a lot of people are going there and learning, and that's my whole point. So I work with the brothers, and I'll be annoyingly asking for translations. Can I get an Arabic translation, brother? You're presented a Tabari. I need the whole page translated, you know, and then I get it, or I try to get it, and etc. So now I'm on their radar. So they sent their brother at me. They sent my brother at me, and they told Purim Shah, you've seen him. He showed up. He refused to engage, brother. He refused to engage. He was like, nope. Then why are you here?
Was that 2 days ago? I think it was on one of the streams. That's right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He came on to make a point. Yeah, he came on to make a point, and then he never argued any of the arguments. He just came on to say, "I want to put this onto my onto his channel or something."
Oh, restream it. Yeah. I want to be able to restream it. And you know why? Because Ruszy told him and Yo-Yo Han, he told them, go and ask the same thing. But brother, we're not giving you guys our content. Look, on my YouTube channel, I've never played anyone's videos. And if I did in the past, I deleted them or I made them private because I don't want any strikes. You know, they don't let us quote MTA. So, we can't use Razi's content. We can't use Yahya Khan had his cousin Shamsuddin's YouTube channel shut down after they both agreed that it was okay to use each other's content. He double crossed them and went and reported into YouTube saying he's using my content without my permission. And you know how it goes. If someone doesn't contest it, the other guy wins. Is a no fault. So did Shamsuddin contest it? We don't know. Some guys aren't computer savvy enough to understand how to contest the YouTube strike. So you can lose on that. So brother, they're not interested to have an honest conversation. And that's the problem. And you saw Huram, you saw Razi. They're not here for that. They're here because what it's morphed into is the Mirza family and the Molvis. The Molvis and the Mirza family are the beneficiaries. And there's a lot of legacy kids, a lot of second generation. Like on the stream about a month ago, there was that kid that showed up. He was the great grandson of Jalaluddin Shams or something like that.
Yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah. It's interesting.
He's a legacy kid.
There's a true fact, brothers and sisters, for those who are watching, mashallah, that when Brother Bashir has been on my streams and we've done an Ahmedi show, they refuse to come on because of Brother Bashir. I don't know if you know that. Brother, if you want to run a story regarding that, go ahead.
Yeah, and so remember, they want to talk to people who aren't well-versed in Qadianism. That's what they're looking for. They don't want to go talk to the people who've read the books and who know, for example, they're not going to argue Mutawafika with me because I know Mirza Gulam Ahmed said he knew all along that he was going to be the Messiah. And he said that he got a secret special revelation that made him change his position. So then it's not about scholarship. Then it's about ilham then. So why are they arguing from scholarship? They should not argue from scholarship because Mirza Gulam Ahmed didn't argue from scholarship. He argued from his ilham, which was shaitani, which was the opium kicking in. And brother, the dreams on opium,
wow.
Just look it up. If you're on opium, the amount of dreams you're going to have is out of control.
I really honestly think, Brother Bashir, and I want to, hopefully end the show on this, is that I actually think this is what actually he had so much contradictions, because I really think that sometimes he possibly was high on opium and he would just, blare or just rant off things, and then people will write it down and it will contradict Tichi. What is this Tichi thing? I'm trying to figure out. People write in the chat, what is this? But I do think that was part of his thing about contradicting things, is that sometimes I don't think he was in the right mind. I really don't think that. Okay, brother, I got that.
Yeah, so here's the National Library of Medicine, and there is a correlation between drug-related dreams and using opium. And there's more than that. If you keep looking this up, there's like a famous book some guy wrote after he took opium, and he wrote about all his hallucinations and everything he saw and etc. So and then he mixed it with religion, because bro, based on who he was, no one's touching Mirza Gulam Ahmed. You're not laying a finger on this guy. All right, the British aren't going to let you. In Delhi in 1891, he shows up to Delhi, and the mob was going to kill him. He's dead. It's over. The British police show up, and there's only like 50 of them in the country, and there's like 10 in Delhi where Mirza Gulam Ahmed is. It's like, what? How did they all congregate? Because they're protecting him. He's been protected. And then, I was on one of their streams, and I asked another question. They were sort of dumbfounded. I said, why did Mirza Gulam Ahmed protect the Christian missionaries? Right? And Razi knew exactly what I'm talking about. Mirza Gulam Ahmed said the reason he cussed at them, you remember the 1,000 lanat, the harami, what else did he say? Kutta, he said all of them, right? He said, no, I only said it to protect them. He says, I didn't want a Muslim to go kill him. No one went to go kill, bro. If a Muslim would have killed a Christian missionary in British
Yeah,
India, his whole family, if they wouldn't have killed the whole family, they would have financially boycotted them and made
yeah,
sure that they were not successful in it. There's other ways to kill a family, bro. You don't
absolutely,
have to literally
absolutely.
do it. You can
Yeah,
suffocate them,
exactly. Yeah,
throw them in
you can.
jail. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
there's many ways to
Absolutely.
beat somebody. Like just look in
Mm.
Pakistan. Look what they're doing to Imran Khan. They threw him in jail
Yeah, yes,
because
that's
they
very.
know he's everyone wants him to be in charge, but he's
Mm,
not listening. The British and NATO are like, okay, how do we slow him down? Put him in
mm,
jail. He can't run for office.
yeah, that's right.
So
That's right.
there's many ways to skin a cat. So
Mm,
Mirza Gulam Ahmad, he said he so remember he called the Christian missionaries the Dajjal. So now
mm,
he's protecting the Dajjal.
mm,
So when I go to ask some of these questions, they're not going to be able to answer. They'll change the question and answer something we didn't even ask. So that's their issue, and they know they're not going to convert me. So for them, it's salesmanship.
mm.
Why would they go to try to make a sale to someone who's not going to buy?
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's the strategy, brother.
Interesting, brother Bashir. Thank you. Like I said, I really appreciate. I know it's short notice, and I really appreciate your time. I really do. I find it really interesting. After watching, streams of the other channels of brother Adnan Rashid and Dr. Imtiaz and everybody else and yourself, I think this is the beginning of the end for this movement. Unless I think Adnan Rashid made a very beautiful point the other day that sometimes the fact that their marriage ties are involved, and people want to leave the Jamaat, but they can't because they've married into it, and they know that personal uh, reasons and issues can cause so much drama for them, and they find it hard to leave. But I'm hoping the younger generation will wake up and kind of smell the coffee and realize that we are following somebody who had some split personality, who had some type of mental health issues, who was also a person who used drugs and much more. They have to wake up and realize that they need to repent and come back to, inshallah, the true religion of Islam, and leave this false Dajjal and his claims. Brother Bashir, final words to you before we wrap it up. And like I said, I do appreciate your time.
Yeah. So I'm hoping, and it depends on the plan of Allah, but I'm hoping when the fifth Khalifa dies, there's going to be a huge. Every time one of their fake Khalifas die, there's a huge split. People
Mm,
leave. There's a huge moment of clarity. I'm hoping when this one dies, he's going to die in the next 10 years, inshallah. And something happens. A Nidha shook him, bro. The Nidha case shook. And, I was working a lot on that. In fact, I had the leaked audio and I was trying to figure out what to do with it. And I didn't put it on my channel because I knew you put that on your channel's gone.
mm,
It's over. A leaked audio, you can't privately record people. There's like a law. I know in California there's a law, something like
mm,
that. But so yeah, so right now there's a Qadiani in Chicago who's trying to get elected, Qasim Rashid, and he's pretending to be pro-Palestinian. So I've been working on that. Of course, I work with Brother Imtiaz and Anand behind the scenes.
mm,
But we're hoping that we really put a dent in them. But the final nail in the coffin is going to have to be from the British government. And
mm,
we're hoping the British government finally says enough is enough.
mm,
You guys got to shut down your operation. And they planned for it. Where the Khalifa lives in Tilford, in Sheep Hatch, that's not owned by the Ahmadiyya movement. That whole property, it's worth 40 million pounds, by the way.
mm. Wow.
It's owned by a
Mm,
separate charity called the Mirza Sharif Ahmed Foundation. And the only purpose of that charity is to hold that property as an asset. So it's like a dummy charity, and it's a backup plan in case things go south. So the other part of it is So once the British government turns on them, there's only one thing that needs to happen. Their tax-free status. Once that gets changed, and the British government or America says no, we're not accepting your nonprofit status anymore. You lost it. That's when it's over. That's when it's legally over. You know, and that happened to the Scientologists in California, in America. I'm not sure if you know about that, but the IRS took their tax exempt status and they sued them, and they won. So to take someone's, and look, brother, the Catholic Church, we know what they've done in America and around the world. Their tax exempt status hasn't been lost. So, you know, these governments, at some point, they got to stop allowing religious organizations to run amok. And inshallah, it's the next revolution. It's the next revolution. And our masjids are free because they're single masjids. You know, we don't have the 10 masjids around America all connected financially or whatever. No, it's all singularities, you know. So inshallah, the next revolution will be in terms of tax exempt status, and we can really take that from them. And then I'm not sure how it works in the UK, but in America, they don't pay sales tax on their books. They don't pay property tax, right? But they benefit from the real estate equity gains. So say they bought a property for 200,000 40 years ago. Now it's worth $1 million. So they can sell it and they made money. Right? But if there's a house on that property, they got to pay property tax. So inshallah, brother, the next revolution is going to be on the tech. Look, we've already laid their brother Imtiaz and Anan have laid their Aqidah bare. I don't it was my help, brother. I'm not even a scholar of Islam or anything like that. So that was not even my specialty. My specialty is in the English literature, the history, getting things converted into English from Arabic or Urdu. And inshallah, brother, it depends on how long Allah has written that they'll be here. You know, maybe Allah wants to test some of us who will go for the money. And he's left it and said, oh, I'm going to test a few of y'all and let's see what you do. So those are my...
It's interesting you say that, brother Bashir. I actually think here in the UK, what triggered it off was when either Ibrahim Numan challenged Adnan Rashid at Speaker's Corner, because of course, if you know Speaker's Corner, brothers and sisters, and I'm sure you do, the majority of the debates is between Muslims and Christians, and, you know, odd times Jews and Hindus. But when the Ahmadiyya come to Speaker's Corner, and Adnan Rashid actually said to Ibrahim Noman, do not open this can of worms, because we don't know where it's going to go. We don't know where the spillover is going to be. And once that happened, then now we've seen this now on all the streams, that this can of worms is open. And to be honest, I'm happy it's open, because a lot of people get fooled by these Ahmadis. They really do. You know, with their style of approach, Razi comes across very polite, very dignified, but when he's rattled, you see a different side to him. And we've been seeing that so many times on, you know, the channels now. So Brother Bashir, like I said, brother, thank you so much. We've gone over the 1 hour mark, and I don't want to keep you up too long. Like I said, brother, I really appreciate your time. I know the time zone is different, and I'm hoping to do part 2 to this, and then part 3, and basically break it down for the audience in a way that you guys will understand that this individual was no way a mental. How do you say it? A role model, mentally, physically, or spiritually for anybody. And we will go through part 2 and 3, and Brother Bashir will break it down for us in a nice way. Brother Bashir, thank you so much. Sorry, I'll let you say the final words before I end the show.
Yeah, final words are only Allah guides people. You know, some people He will not guide. You know, I personally believe there's a few people in my family that he's like they're too far gone, and you know, that's just what they're gonna be or what they're gonna do. You saw Yahya Han, the stuff he wrote about Imtiaz. He was asking brother Imran for a nikah mutta or something which he knows was haram, and these people are sick. It's the Ahmadiyyat that makes them sick. You know, when I was 12 years old, I figured out it was brainwashing. I was like, why did they tell us the same thing at every event? It's the same speeches on the same topic. There's so I wanted to learn more, you know, and it just wasn't there. It's just there's just nothing. It's the same script. Be loyal to the government, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Messiah, Mahdi, etc. So at the end of the day, it's up to Allah. Allah wrote it, and it's in motion. And whatever He wrote is going to come to pass. And I just have patience and sabr and just wait to see everything unfold.
Alhamdulillah. May Allah protect and preserve you, brother. You're doing fantastic work. For more information regarding Brother Bashir, you can go to his website. I have put the link to the website in the chat. So if you want to get more resources, valuable information, there it is, ahmadiyyafactcheckblog.com. Check it out and you'll get some fantastic resources. Once again, thank you so much to you, brothers and sisters, for watching. I know it was short notice, but we'll hopefully continue some short episodes on this topic of Mirza Ghulam Ahmed. We touched slightly on his early days and his mother and father and the environment that he lived in, and of course the lineage of his tribe coming back from the Mughal Empire, and his dad having a strong link with the Sikh Empire and actually becoming a soldier or serving in the Sikh regiments and fighting against the Muslims. So thank you guys once again for watching. This is your brother Muhammad from CovFF, and also great news that I just reached over 14K subscribers. And again, I started this channel when the COVID happened a few years back, and I didn't know that, you know, we'll get to this stage of, you know, alhamdulillah, achieving a small landmark for me, 14K. But alhamdulillah, everything's from the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like Brother Bashir said. And once again, thank you for watching. This is your brother Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.